Let me start again by saying hello one more time. So today we're learning the sentence flows or the false in sentences. And the one that we're looking at today is the run-on sentence. Now, as the name suggests, a run-on sentence is simply a sentence error caused by running one sentence into another without putting any punctuation in between. Take, for example, the word, we all like grammar, we all love this class. Those are two sentences. The first one starts with the subject we, and the second one started with the subject we as well. Now, I said right now that it's one sentence running into the other without any punctuation. However, there are two types for that run-on sentence. Type number one is two sentences, two complete sentences joined without any punctuation, like we just seen before. Another example is anger is a dangerous emotion. It has many bad effects. The word it, the pronoun it, refers to the word anger. Here is the subject, here is the subject. So those two are independent sentences, two complete sentences. So here is the first mistake. There is absolutely no punctuation in between. The second type is when you look at the sentence and you find a lot of commas without any understanding of how to function and what's the function of a comma. It's a very, very dangerous mistake. We call it the comma splice. Splice as in divide. A comma dividing two complete sentences is not correct. Is not correct. And I repeat, this is a very, very common mistake. Sentence, comma, sentence, comma. Like you are taking a breath between the two using a comma. This is a very, very common error. So the first one, we call it the diffused sentence, which is just two sentences without any punctuation whatsoever. The second one, two sentences, but still you look and find a comma without any justification of the use of the comma. A comma is a very, very dangerous thing to play with. So, without further ado, what could be the situation or what could be the solution to those kinds of mistakes, the run-on sentences? Now, if you look at this sentence here, my niece is a smart baby, comma, she learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. A very common mistake, very, very common. Just two complete sentences and a comma in between. So if I were you, I would just make them two separate sentences, change the comma into a full stop. And there you go, a complete sentence. Of course, do not forget to capitalize the first letter. Here is your first solution. Your second solution is just as Shaima said right now, you put on a semicolon, especially when the two sentences are related to one another. She's a smart baby, and so logically, she learned, or as a consequence, she learned to speak at the age of 1 year and 6 months. It's a proof of how she is smart. Now, sentence number 3 or solution number 3 is we simply use a coordinating conjunction. And this simply means the fanboys, a comma in between. My niece is a smart baby, comma, and. So the difference between sentence number 3 here and the first sentence, simply you just added and then add before it a comma. Do not put the comma without the coordinating conjunction. The fanboys. Let's, if you don't mind, I've taken the liberty of taking some samples of your essay writing, and I'm just going to show you the difference in the run-on sentences mistakes, I'll show you a fused and I will show you the comma splice. Summer, then you will repeat, you just turn it into a complex sentence if you add who. My niece, who is 6 years old, or my niece is a smart baby who learned to speak at the age of so and so. No problem with that. Now have a look at this sentence here. Believe it or not, this is one sentence. I've taken that from one of your essays. So the writer starts by saying, to commence with, one key reason why aged employees are more useful to a corporation is the issue of experience, since the aged clerks have long experience in the field, comma, they may help the firm and assist the firm from a horrific scenario, comma, to explain this point more, comma, a recent study had discovered a multitude of companies prefer da 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 da, blah 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 blah. And then even when starting the new paragraph, look, the capitalization, but look here, it's a comma. So let's study this first. To commence with, first of all, let me tell you that all introductory phrases of paragraphs are not really necessary unless you're linking two contradictory paragraphs. Otherwise, I do not like to begin with and to commence with and then as a start and all those kind of rubbish. It just wastes time. It doesn't add anything to the coherence. You start by saying one key reason why aged employees are more useful to a corporation is the issue of experience. Here is it. Here is it. You want to give more explanation? The aged clerks have a long experience in the field. Of course, if I were you, I wouldn't put sans or a semicolon here. I would just put a comma to say that this is a positive sentence, just a sentence that gives extra explanation. Or if I were you, I would just put a semicolon and remove the word sans. Like experience, semicolon, the aged clerks have a long experience in their field. All right. Then full stop. Because when you use the comma, or I'm sorry, the semicolon, you just simply did what? You just made a compound sentence. And this is enough. Then in the second part, when you say they may help the firm and assess the firm from horrific scenarios, okay, here is an explanation for the idea of the word experience. So full stop, capital letter, they may help the firm and assess the firm and assisted. طبعا look at the word firm. So this is a repetition. It's not necessary. For the sake of coherence, please change this into it and assist it from or help it avoid horrific scenarios. You want to explain? Give me a new sentence. Full stop to explain this point more, comma, a recent study had discovered that a multitude of companies prefer the senior clerks due to the immense experience and the ability to solve problems, comma, which may occur during the job, full stop. We put a comma before which because which here is a non-essential. Okay, so let me write it down to you here. Have a look at my correction. So I put it as, all right. I put it as a word, as okay. Allow me to take a copy of this. One more. Hold on, let me get the essay where I got this from. So we're just connecting here. They're likely to improve the performance. All right, so here is how to correct this very long, very tiring paragraph. Why put a comma before which? A very good question. What could be the answer to that? Are you joking, Basim? Are you joking with me? I already uploaded that to the Google Classroom and I said that it checked the folder and I have told you that it was there since Wednesday. Since Wednesday, last Wednesday. Why put a comma before which though? Does anyone know why do we put a comma before which? Okay, it's a not essential clause and non-essential extra information. As I said last time, ya Marwa, which is a which we take by the comma and throw out of the window. I hope that you remember that from last session. The relative pronoun which, and sometimes who and where as well, take a comma before it because it is not important to the meaning of a complete sentence. So if you remove it, the main meaning of a sentence is not affected. Now, is that clear here? How did we correct this one paragraph here? Is that clear? Any questions before I move on into this one here? We call the comma splice because it's full of commas in the wrong place. Of course, he meant, or the person, the writer meant to say a company, not a company, a mistake. There are so many other mistakes. Today, I'm not looking at anything but the run-on sentence summer. All right, now let's have a look at the second type of commas, sentence flows. This one here goes on and on and on with zero punctuation. I call this diffused because just it's blah, 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 blah without, stopping at the right places to stop and explain. So, firstly, okay, I am not against that kind of word, but I don't see a use of it because there will be a second. There isn't firstly and then secondly and then later on. No, no, no. We use that when we are about to give a sequence language. Other than that, no. What's wrong? Why can't people join us? This sentence here, how could this one be improved? Any ideas, any thoughts considering what we just learned now? Separate them with what? Comma before and. Okay. Which and are you talking about here? Where is the and that you're talking about? You did not put and. Okay. Comma before can and before and. Never, never separate a subject and a verb, يا شيماء, with a comma. We call this comma splice. Comma splice is when you put a comma between a subject and a verb. This is very wrong. Never do that. Type. Don't you think that the writer here just wanted to say that, you know, it's the wording. يعني في كمية كلمات هنا محطوطة ملهاش لازمة خالص. بص كده. Mastering the art of public speaking not only, شايفين بقى الماجيك بتاع not only helps in business but also makes social interaction more enjoyable. عايز بقى كده like that you just made a complex. كده complex. Use not only but also. And then you say thus بقى new sentence كده. Thus ده لو عايز تقول thus بس ملهاش لازمة. يعني all that كل ده هو الجملة دي بالظبط. So Summer wants to put a comma before for. تمام. For one to be successful in his business and life as well as being able to persuade others and convince them in with is. طب فين الverb؟ ماشي؟ يعني انت هنا بتقولي for one to be successful in his business and life. ايه اللي يحصل بقى؟ فين الverb؟ ما هو انت you wanna put a comma before coordinating conjunction before fanboys لازم subject و verb. فين؟ Where would you put the comma before but? Where is أصلا but? Where would you want to add the but? I see no contradiction. He wants to combine the sentences together. Anyway, look here at my sentence. Isn't this thought the same as this? If you just, you know, if you want to say at an early age, شيماء, you want to add a comma before, but also you will need to have a complete sentence after it, not verb and verb. Because look here, not only helps, but also makes. مش not only it helps, but also makes. لا. كده ما ينفعش تحط كاما. لما بنعطف verb على verb ما ينفعش نحط كاما.